thanks for accepting to talk with me.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
So I thought to introduce you to my audience.
Okay, so my pen name is I.O.Scheffer, and I am a primarily fantasy writer, but I do some other stuff. I also have written nonfiction pieces for magazines. I have written short stories too, kind of more along the realistic side, or also the horror side, supernatural elements. There are a number of things that I do. For example, I work in a dining hall. I worked at a greenhouse over the summer, which was really very interesting. I have a little dog who I take care of. I also am attending college currently, and I'm in my third year, so I will be graduating with a bachelor's of um, science with, or arts rather, with creative writing and Italian studies. So those are kind of the things that I do. I also used to do a lot of music, but that's not really as relevant to this conversation since I am primarily and foremostly an author.
Okay, so you're from?
I am from Ohio in the United States. Um, and so there are a lot of like rural areas around here, but I mean, I grew up in the suburbs, so it was all right. There are a lot of little stores and places that I could go to, and also metro parks, which are just very lovely to walk around in and to clear your head at.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
Um, so one of the things that I really like to spend my time doing is editing and writing creatively. I've also started doing some freelancing, which has been pretty nice. I'm trying to build up my portfolio. Another thing that I tend to do is beta read for people. And so I like to help other writers and aspiring authors improve their works. And sometimes I'll do line edits. Sometimes I'll be looking more for like content. But that's something I just genuinely enjoy. I tend to be a slower reader, weirdly enough, so it takes me a while, but I get things done. At least I like to think that I do. I have, I mean, if it helps to know, I am a fan of historical fiction. That's something that I really love to read. I'm also a fan of nonfiction, scientific works, books, real life mysteries, those sorts of things.
So yeah, you were telling about yourself.
Yeah, so I like to read a lot of different genres. But I have my focus area with writing at least tends to be more along the lines of fiction and fantasy, and sometimes supernatural. I've worked both with shorter stories. Like I have a bit of small portfolio online on my Wix website that people can see. I mean, it's for public viewing. Um, but just different things that I've written in the past and that I feel are good enough to show to the world. And I recently self-published the book Fearghus Academy October Jewels, which is in the Fearghus Academy series, and that's a sort of YA fantasy. Um, and it's about, I have a physical copy actually that I might show you, which I am showing you. Um, So it's kind of on the longer side, but I think it's pretty concise at least with getting through it. It's a fun read. I mean, as the author, I've read it many times, but I've heard a lot of good feedback and a lot of people have liked it. Um, just recently I did a free book promotional sale, and I got quite a few sales, so that was pretty nice. Yeah, quite a few sales for me anyway, because I haven't been able to advertise too much because I need to save money because I am a college student. Um, so I have done some advertising campaigns, and I'm trying to wet my feet with marketing, trying to get used to it, trying to find which people are the people who will read this and promoting it to them. Um, I've also had support from family and friends too, which has been really helpful and really nice. Um, I put a lot of pride into my work, getting it edited and trying to just make it the best that it can be because I mean it's something that I want to make my career off of, and it's a passion of mine.
So you have shown your book. So what is it about?
So Fearghus Academy, October Jewels, this first one in the series is about Anna Addison. She changes her name to Artesia in the book. It's not on the back cover, but it's just a little thing to note. She is living in London. It's 1864. Things kind of suck for her. She's in an orphanage, doesn't have parents. She is working for a living pretty much. She hates life, and then the woman, Nicole Harvey, appears, and she's very strange, and she ends up she forces Anna to make some hard decisions, and in the process, Anna ends up going to live with her, and she discovers that she has magic, and so Nicole takes her to this other place called Dalvam, which is basically another world, but it follows the same, like, if you were to have Earth and Dalvam, Dalvam is created a few hundred years before the current on Earth, but they're pretty much in sync. It's like 1864 technically, both on Earth and in Dalvam, but Dalvam has knowledge from the future Earth. So this place that she goes to, everybody has magic, right? And there are also like the culture is very different. So the story's partly about Anna growing up both personally and also adapting to this new culture that she's in and making relationships that she didn't have when she was on Earth. Um, and then as she's going to this magical school and she's going on these adventures with her new friends or classmates, really, um, something bad happens. I can't say what, but that kind of sets the course for the rest of the book. So she has to deal with so many different things, just going to school when she only went to school for a very short amount of time when she was on Earth. Um, Interacting with people, the expectations for her are different. And then on top of that, there's this evil person or evil people, she's not really sure, that are trying to destroy what she has recently come to love. So that's kind of how the story, the plot goes. Yeah.
So how
Sorry.
much time you took to write this book?
Well, I started writing it when I want to say, in eighth grade. I had drawn a sketch in a class, like a little before lunch, and that sketch pretty much inspired the series. um, it was just of Anna, and then going from there, I started working on it. I want to say in the winter, and so writing the book itself, I would say it took me 1 or 2 years because I was also in high school at the time, middle school, high school. Um, and then Getting it edited, though, and going through the beta reader process took a lot longer. And I've already drafted like book 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm pretty productive. It usually takes me about a year um, to pump out like a draft. But then the editing process takes a lot longer. So I'd say book 1 in the series has taken me probably total around 3-ish years, 4, 6, something like that. But my focus has been on and off of it. So there's some discrepancy in the timing. I think that's what I'm trying to explain is there's a lot of discrepancy in the timing in it. But the editing toward the end, after I had beta readers, I want to say that took, I could be off. I might be remembering it wrong. Maybe somewhere between 1 and 3 months. And then I published it.
So you said that your family and your friends are so supportive. So can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So my mom very early on has helped me improve my English, like grammar and stuff like that. So for a very long time I've been writing stories and such and working with one of my good friends who's a year older than me. She's a big writer, and so we would beta read each other's work, help each other edit, and I would get tips from her, and I would also like learn how to improve my writing through the help of my mom because she does a lot of editing in her work, and so that helped with just the foundations of my writing career. Um, and then when the book was published, like I had family members buy it, and a lot of my friends also bought the book. So that was really helpful, and I got a lot of support from them. I had quite a few friends who, back in the beta reading stage, read a few chapters or read the entire thing. And so that was just really helpful all around. I mean, as a writer, it is incredibly important, at least in my opinion, to have people who you can rely on and who you can work with so that you can ultimately just achieve your goals, basically.
So your next book is going to release next year.
Yeah. So book 2 in the Fearghus Academy series, I'm planning on releasing probably around the same time as I released book 1. I haven't decided on an exact month yet because I haven't gotten it edited through yet professionally. But once that happens, I'll have a clear idea about when I'm going to be able to publish. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be coming out early. I want to say early next summer.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
So what is your favorite book?
Jeez, my favorite book. I want to say my favorite book that is closest to my heart is Bloody Jack. Is it L.A. Meyer? I might be saying his name wrong. He's dead though, so I don't think he'll mind. But the Bloody Jack series that is my favorite book. I haven't even finished it, but just based off of like the 4 books that I read, like the first 4 books or 5 books, like I was reading them in school, and that I think really inspired me with the historical elements and the adventuring and just having a protagonist who ages throughout the story. I really like that. So I would say, yeah, Bloody Jack is probably my favorite book.
So you're going to be a professional writer.
Yes, I want to be an author. I mean, the dream is to be a full-time writer, right? But I mean, I think I'm pretty realistic in that I plan on working as well, like having a one job and then also writing as a second job, but not placing more importance on the one job. Like I feel like to really be successful, at least in my future, if I really want to be successful as a writer, I need to have my primary focus on the writing. And that's what it's pretty much been. I mean, I went to college for the sake of improving my writing. And so I'm at college. I'm really just wanting to see as much success as I can with the skill set that I have and with the help that I can get. Um, and doing interviews like this and just getting out there, I think is very important to having people realize that your book exists, because obviously if no one knows that your book exists and that you've written stuff, they're probably not going to buy it. So like stuff like this is very helpful with that, and I really appreciate the time that you're taking out of your day to interview me.
At last, can you tell people about your book that is released in 1 minute, so that people can get it and know what is it about?
I mean, would you like me to just read the back cover?
No, just an overview.
Do that. No, just an overview. Okay, so an overview would be young girl who has anger issues meets mysterious woman who changes her life, makes decisions that lead to good and terrible things, and then has to deal with the consequences of all of the decisions that she's made. And there's magic.
Okay, I'll put the link of your book in the description of this video.
Thank you.
The people who connects with the story will definitely buy and will read your imagination.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this.
Have you seen my previous videos on YouTube?
Yeah, I have. I actually looked at quite a few of them, and I really like that. I mean, you seem to be working very hard, and um, I mean, just the amount of videos that are up on your YouTube are incredible, and like that's really cool. You're very dedicated, and I respect that. I respect that in a person, is just that sort of dedication to what you're doing and that passion for meeting people and understanding them, and also just helping people. And because that's really something that you're doing, is you are helping people get exposure and you're helping people explain themselves so that people are getting a chance to um, have that moment on YouTube and anywhere else that you end up posting your videos, you know? So that's really cool. I think that you have a good head on your shoulders, and I really wish you the best for that.
Thank you so much for telling me about your book and about yourself. Definitely. Can I share? Can I put this video on my YouTube channel and on my social accounts and on my
Oh, yeah.
on internet with your permission?
Yes, yes. You have full permission.
Thanks a lot. And after releasing your second book, we'll meet again.
Thank you. All right. Have a good night.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.